What's poppin', guys? It's your boy RaiR and here again today. I hope you're all looking after yourselves and keeping safe. Fantastic. I also have my social media handles, Instagram and TikTok below, my email as well. Feel free to go follow them and reach out to me if you'd like to collaborate or you have certain things you want me to cover. I will look at them, but nothing silly, guys. No silliness, okay? Thank you for your support and understanding. Now on today's talking point, the alpha male conundrum. Now, difference between alphas and non-alphas is off the mind. It is off the mind because from the things you have heard, you know that such men as I cited earlier on, who probably are not in control or on top of things in their lives, are people who have just thrown in the towel on themselves. They've given up before the fight even started. And let me tell you, life does not get easier. Make peace with that. It doesn't get easier. Look at Andrew Tate right now. Look at Dr. Jordan Peterson, right? You think it's easy for him to every day do all he does for men and still face the backlash that he faces, right? Being cast as one. Anyway, I'll address that in another video. But people like Dr. Jordan Peterson, a lot of people in society who fight for men, who fight for our society, our freedom of speech, etc., etc., and all that they face. You think you're gonna get up to the battleground and everybody will just drop their weapon and walk home? Nobody's doing that for you. You're gonna have to fight for it. So dig in. If you find that you're grappling for control in your life, my guy, go to war, draw your strategy and do what needs to be done and do it the right way. I am not by any means encouraging or inciting violence. I'm just saying reason, think about it, sit down and draw out a plan and execute it. And you find that it works. And if you fail, go again, because that's what alphas do. Now, the difference between alphas and non-alphas is off the mind. Alphas ready their minds for failing, stillness, and victories, bordered on the fact that regardless of which comes their way, they will not be subdued or intoxicated by it. What do I mean? Alphas are people who do not see failings as something that translate to failure. Failings to them means another way not to do it again. Means eliminating another option of becoming a failure and going again. They do not see failings as obstacles. They see them as things that enhances their opportunity to go again and go and achieve what they desire. They don't also see victories as things that are worthy of intoxication. They don't stand beating at their own drum and singing it all over the place like this and that and then getting carried away. No, you win, and then they walk away and they go at it again. Remember, purpose driven. And you don't just achieve your purpose by earning one win, one score. No, they embrace each failing as an opportunity to do better and be better. They leave any chance of failure to unresolved limitations. That's why I said they don't see failings as failure. They see failings as things that further highlights how not to do that thing again, how not to invest in that business or venture again, how not to try out that business again. Now I know one way I cannot do it. It means I go again and try again. It doesn't mean now I know I should never do it, as some people who beat themselves down do, which are the non-alphas who are just downtrodden. They just think the worst of themselves. They do not think forward. They're not progressive. They don't like challenges. They wait so somebody can come serve them their breakfast on their bed. That doesn't happen. Manna doesn't fall from heaven. Anyway, guys, they embrace each failing as an opportunity to do better, be better. And they leave, by doing that, they leave chances of failure to unresolved limitations, right? By unresolved limitations, I mean things that they can't handle. It's just out of their hands. I mean, it could be an act of God. You plan to go out there and do the marathon, but then the rain starts running and the temperature changes to minus 18 degrees. You can't help that. You couldn't have done anything about it. That's and then you are limited to, you're not capable. No human being is capable of running under minus 18 degrees. So that's an unresolved limitation. Yes, the body can't function under such weather and you couldn't have controlled it. That's just life. It's an act of God. Simple. Now, with the last statement in mind, you can now begin to understand that men who have acquired wealth aren't necessarily alphas and might not even fancy one due to reasons I'll trust your thinking to guide you to. So, alphas are strategic persons. They are well acquainted with vital resources and means accessible to them, majority of the time. That way they know the best assets to deploy at required times, how to delegate effectively, to free up some cognitive time for themselves and avoid the bottleneck of micromanagement. I remember a lecturer of mine telling us in uni during my master's days that a guy who owned a company hired somebody to oversee the affairs of the company, and the guy ended up doing the job of his subordinates whom he hired, and he got fired. Why? Because he left. His job was never to get in and start doing the jobs of people he has hired. He showed incompetence. He started doing the jobs of people he has hired. He wasn't hired for that. You hired them. It's either you hired the wrong persons or you don't know what you're doing. Micromanagement is something that impacts heavily. It impacts you heavily. As a person of means or an alpha, you know to use your resources effectively. I want to clean, but I do a day job. If I clean, it will impact how productive my day goes. So I'm going to outsource the cleaning so I can buy some time for myself to do myself and be as productive as I should be, and then have thinking time to think of other things I could use the rest of my time to do that might bring me income, right? By doing that, I've covered the cost of the cleaning. I've had a productive day, and I've also progressively thought about how I could improve myself and my wallet going forward. That's what alphas do. Strategic thinkers, forward thinkers, progressive. Do you see what I'm saying? Of course, within reasonable boundaries when I use the word progressive. So alphas are strategic in nature and they're well acquainted with their resources, right? So with that said, there's also the saying that rich people spend money to buy time while your average Joe wastes time to save money. I mean, the body that cannot sustain them because they're operating from a scarcity mindset. And the alpha or the rich persons from operating from a growth mindset, demonstrated by using their money to buy time that he will then or they will then delegate to high value, the time that they would have bought by outsourcing certain tasks, they will delegate to high value tasks that will earn them greater returns on investment, right? Also note that whilst this is a seasoned alpha's way of thinking, not all alphas operate this way, and the mere fact that some of these persons might have a varied approach to how they use their time and resources, the key thing to note is how effective their strategy is in the end. There's something they say in my language, say after running a race, we'll count the mile. And some people will say it depends on where you start counting it. The point is this. Remember when I said the question about are all alphas boisterous and energetic? No. Some people actually have means. They're very strategic thinkers. But they like to be behind the curtains. They don't like attention. So you probably will not hear from such a person, but that doesn't mean they're confused.comers. They are in control and in charge of what's going on. Make no mistake about it. You take one step out of the line, they will fire your ass or they will put you in your place. But they don't want to be at the forefront of their own vision, right? They'll prefer to, control what's going on from behind the scenes. There are people like that. In the end, how do you scale them? You measure by how effective their strategy is in the end, both of them. So remember, alphas are not just one thing. They're not one way. Alphas are men. Men are not just one thing. We're a variety of things. There are different shades to it. But one thing alphas are is whether they're quiet, they're silent, or they're vocal, they are very strategic. In the end, measure the outcome of their thinking. Measure the outcome of their strategy. That's how you measure them. Right? So this is applicable on a case-by-case basis according to tasks or challenges at hand. And another question that might come to mind, can someone earning 6 figures qualify as an alpha? Yes, of course that they can qualify as an alpha, but there are also persons who earn 6 figures. However, how they manage their funds puts them in a meager position. It puts them in the position of a pauper. You wouldn't even know that they earn 6 figures. So again, it comes down to what I was telling you earlier. Being aware of your surroundings, having the awareness of being aware of your means, the limitations of your means, what it can achieve, what it cannot achieve for you, and as such, being effective with them. That's what makes you an alpha. Because somebody could be earning 1 million, but then they walk into some betting shop every day and gamble 98% of that money and come home with 2%. Would you say that they are wealthy? No, you can't. Because whilst the money comes into their account, they do not have the discipline to handle it and then allow it to affect or influence their lives. But somebody might be making 50 grand and they make very, very good, positive, strategic, decisive decisions. Things that would help them scale up right? And in the next 3, 4, 6 months, you find that there's never a time you whistle any need and they do not come responding to it. What would you say? That's an alpha. Because the way I see it, sometimes some people will say, oh, if you make 6 figures, I know the 1%ers and the 5%, 3%ers of society that earn so high, particularly those who equate alpha to how much money you have to earn to be a worthy leader over your girlfriend or your wife, or etc, etc. And then you think that those 1%ers or the 3%ers, high earners in society, with their money can provide and protect for the family. Well, if you find somebody who's reckless, yet they make a lot of money, and when the time comes, when push comes to shove and they are asked, they cannot provide, but you find a janitor who makes maybe 40, 50 grand. He knows how to manage his money and invest some little somewhere and here and there, and he has roof over their heads, etc, etc. Would you say that that guy is a provider protector? Yes, he is. In comparison to the guy who makes tons of money, but he lives like some stupid idiot with no sense, no brain in his head, would you say that the low earner is not an alpha? No, you can't. And this is my opinion. I actually want you guys, when you hear this, I want to know what you think. I know there's an amount you would earn, and it will be difficult for you alone as a person to live by and do all the things you want to do in life. I get it. I'm not at all in denial of that fact. All I'm saying is sometimes the fact that you earn 80k and somebody earns 150 grand does not put you in an advantageous position. It doesn't mean that you cannot command and champion your own cause. It doesn't mean you cannot provide and protect for your people and family, and therefore disqualifies you from being an alpha or being in charge and in control of your situation. No, it's a thing of the mind. The scarcity mindset, remember? The scarcity mindset, the fixed mindset, the growth mindset, the abundance mindset, right? I don't mean the kumbaya abundance mindset. I mean a practical abundance mindset where you are forward thinking. You know what you have, you know where it can go and what it cannot do. Therefore, you plan and strategize on how to make the most and best of it, right? So that's what I'm talking about, guys. Does finance play a huge part in how far an alpha can go? Yes, it does. Yes. That's why I said I'm not in denial, because your finances can give you access to corridors of power and value, but it isn't a guarantee that you will achieve either value nor power just by having money. You got to do some other things alongside it. Alphas, due to their understanding of their weaknesses and high risk appetite, they're often resilient, they're dedicated, they're driven to succeed against odds within reasonable boundaries, of course. See, don't go to play jukebox and lie to yourself that you are driven. That's not it at all. That's not what I'm talking about, guys. You make £50 or you make £50,000 or you make 50 million, and then you walk into a gambling shop and you say, yes, I am driven. No, that's not being driven. That's being stupid. You're being stupid, right? If you put maybe a £2 towards that, okay, fine, but don't go throw your 50 million or 50,000 at it and say that you're driven. That's not drive. That's stupidity right there. So in conclusion, the longing for alpha benefits often misguides a lot of males, and that's why I have done this video. So, and the reason is the longing for alpha benefits often misguides a lot of males to attempt shortcutting their way through life. And one thing I know, life will always remind you how far you have traveled to arrive at your given position by its charges. You cannot run from the truth. So you can't shortcut your way through. You cannot cheat your way through. Desire to know. When you acquire knowledge, apply it effectively to your life, for knowledge is no use if you do not apply it effectively, guys. Albert Einstein says, improve and develop yourself to be credible so you may serve your purpose full term. Remember this. Improve and develop yourselves to be credible so you can serve your purpose full term. That's the whole thing about alpha. You serve your purpose. Desist from the idea of knowing to prove a point, because you would prove yourself foolish in the sight of honorable men and people of great wisdom. Do not desire an alpha for your longing to dominate women. I say that again. Do not desire to be an alpha for your longing to dominate women. Keep thine eyes stayed on growing to enhance yourself as you embrace the journey of becoming. For there is joy in becoming than in being. being stuck in one place. You have achieved one thing. You do not want to challenge yourself. You're just stuck there and you're a past glory. Becoming, yes, I have achieved this. I want to do more. How can I become better? How can I improve? As much as this is good, could it be better? And could it be great and greater moving forward? So please leave your comments, guys. I hope that you would have benefited from this one. It's a very long one, and thanks for the patience. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for the love and support. Now, until the next one, stay rare. Remember, rare, responsible, accountable, intelligent, and rational. I wish you nothing, guys, but peace.